Namaskar. This is Shilpa Bhawana and I extend my heartiest welcome to my wonderful audience in your favorite and unique talk series, Chartered Accountants, The Growth Gears. It is presented by the Committee for Members in Industry and Business, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. So my dear friends, let's start one more inspiring episode just for you.
At the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, we strongly believe that as the world's largest accounting body, we have a huge role to play towards economic development of India. In this regard, we constantly endeavor to review the emerging trends globally and evaluate the need for changes that are necessary to meet the expectations of stakeholders and the industry. As a premier body for accounting, we have always been instrumental in setting up and formulating standards of accounting and strengthening the financial reporting framework. The world today is moving at a very fast pace. To keep oneself updated is not recommended but a necessity today. At the Institute, we continually monitor the changes and keep programs and seminars to keep our members updated and abreast with the changing scenarios, not just domestically, but also internationally. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is fully dedicated and taking various endeavors to drive the growth of its members and students who are our growth gears.
Accounting does not make the corporate earnings or balance sheets more volatile, but accounting increases the transparency of volatility in that earning. So it's very important to get our basics in place, to get our knowledge in place, and to get the ethics in place, and to get the professional approach in place. So today we are meeting one such personality who has got the combination of all. I am talking about the Managing Director and CEO of Bajaj Electricals Limited, CA Anuj Poddar.
A performance-oriented professional, CA Anuj Poddar is a rank holder chartered accountant from the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. He is the Managing Director and CEO of India's leading consumer products and lighting solutions company. With his knowledge and expertise, he is credited with having driven transformation of the company in a relatively short period.
Anuj, a cozy welcome to the Growth Gears.
Thank you very much, Shilpa, and thank you for having me.
Firstly, I would like to say that you are wearing a cap which is invisible to my audience, and that has got the feathers of many success and excellence, I would say. So how do you see this diversified achievements that you have achieved till now?
Well, I don't know. I mean, the only thing I would say is it was not something planned. It was completely, if I had planned for it, I would probably not be sitting here.
Yeah.
But it's been a journey I've thoroughly enjoyed, and it's been extremely satisfying.
So when did that journey started?
So it started back in 95. That's when I graduated. But actually I started my chartered accountancy sometime in 93. But post-graduation, which is post-college in 95, I really started working full-time. In the firm, I thought I'm going to be there for 2 or 3 years and then quit and join business. As a Marwari boy, typically that's what one tends to do. But as it turns out, I ended up doing completely different from what I had planned to do, and it's been a great journey.
So as you see that it has been a wonderful journey. So what kind of wonders have you witnessed at that time? Because when we talk about a professional career, it's never a one-sided game. Like it's a two-sided game. You play your card, फिर अचानक से जिंदगी बोलती है now this is my card. Is there any kind of such instance where you thought ki, oh my God, I just thought that this would have been going wrong into my professional career, but that actually gave you a lot of learning at that point of period, I would say.
So, Shilpa, I'll go back to my first job with Arthur Andersen.
Yeah.
Right? And I think it was a trial by fire, if I say that.
Okay.
And when I say that, I didn't know what I'd signed up for. It was an extremely aggressive workplace. It was an extremely aggressive firm. It was a firm that tolerated absolutely no mediocrity. You had to be perfect. You had to chase. Quite honestly, I hated it for those first 2-3 years.
Yeah.
But when I look back at my career, I think those are the years that really made me the professional that I am. Those were tough years. Those were years when I thought, where have I landed up? I'm in the wrong place.
But you learned a lot.
For me, I learned a lot, not just technically, but I think it just made me a very solid professional. The other aspect that, I think we prided ourselves in as a firm was being very entrepreneurial. What I mean by that is we were not doing cookie cutter stuff.
Okay.
So most of what we're doing, a lot of these were industry first, country first, the kind of projects and mandates and assignments that we were working in.
So priorities were very clear at that time.
Priorities, I'm not sure it was for me, because I was yet the rebel, actually, to be honest, in the sense that I was being put into these situations that I thought, why am I
but
doing
I
this?
would say कि जितने ज़्यादा rebel लोग होते हैं ना, वो ज़रूर से ज़रूर नाम बनाते हैं.
I would agree to that. So I think two words that stand out is professionalism and excellence on one hand, but being an entrepreneur in the sense that you were just thrown in at the deep end of the pool all the time and had to learn to swim and learn to deal with new situations all the time. Yes.
So Anuj, don't you see that when you landed up in that particular organization and you were there working like 14 to 16 hours as you said, but that particular thing was also being taught to you when you were doing your chartered accountancy, because there also आपको 14-15 घंटे तो पढ़ाई करनी ही पड़ती है. So how do you see that interconnection between both of them?
I think the good news is the chartered accountancy degree is a phenomenal degree. I think it's underrated in today's day and age compared to other alternative educational programs. I think there's just a solid knowledge base in chartered accountancy. It's a very technically sound
and strong financial literacy.
Strong financial literacy. Finance is one part of it. Accountancy is a very different part of it.
Right.
But I think the one part that people don't realize, it actually makes you half a lawyer, if not a full lawyer. So extremely strong, legal curriculum in that, contracts law, Companies Act, etc. So I would say, except for a legal degree, one is a lawyer if one has been a chartered accountant. So I think if you take the combination of finance, accounts and law together, that's part of every single business that you could be in.
Of course,
right?
of
And
course.
I think it's therefore technically extremely strong degree or education to go through.
दोस्तों, हमारे साथ ज़िंदगी में भी बहुत बार ऐसा होता है that we think कि बहुत सारी चीज़ें हम शायद इसीलिए खुश नसीब नहीं हैं कि बहुत सारी अच्छी चीज़ें हमें नहीं मिल रही हैं. But we need to remember कि खुश नसीब हम सिर्फ तब होते हैं जब हम मिली हुई चीज़ को और अच्छा बना देते हैं. So I would like to tell you, Anuj, that whatever you have got, in whichever field you have stepped in, I have seen you adding more glory to it basically, because I have never seen a chartered accountant being into hardcore media industry and working on that strategy and then taking up that brand to higher level. So please share that experience with us. I know all my audience would be really excited to hear about it.
Sure, Shilpa. So again, like I said, firstly, my career has been completely unplanned, so I could not have planned this. And the move into media was completely at one end of it. And I joined MTV, music television. So, it's the last place me or anybody would have expected me to be.
Being a chartered accountant.
Being a chartered accountant and my persona and everything else. I was typically not that kind of person. The first 6 months, to be honest, I did think of quitting that. But as it turns out, I was there for 13 years. And I think we did a great job, setting that company up. While I joined what's called MTV, we built out a company called VIACOM 18. It's been phenomenally successful. I think it's one of the greatest success stories in media in India. It goes back to the same point, I think if you learn to do something new, combined with just a solid foundation of chartered accountancy, etc., then you learn to deal with the new things, etc.
But how did you make yourself being at ease with the media professionals? A chartered accountant is like a hardcore person who wants to see the profits on the balance sheet, always dealing with the figures and numbers and digits. And there we are talking about the entertainment industry. Of course, it is also driven by the numbers. But yes, you have to be a little more creative, a little more emotions has to come out of it. So how did you make yourself comfortable with that particular scenario? Because that must have been a challenging task for you.
Yes. So now I'll break that up into different phases in that journey, right? I think I started off in a strategy role, which was more business centric, less creative centric. So it required me to not have so many creative skills, but I needed to get not just the number side, but very strong commercial logic. Again, goes back to the same point that you have to keep your eyes and ears open. And can you imbibe from them? Can you learn the creative aspect
Be aware
of the business from them? So you're not just focused on what you're doing, but you are training yourself on things that you don't know. So I think, I don't know, it was probably 5-7 years into that role that I moved into a business role that involved creative calls, marketing calls, brand-led calls. That is something I learned on the job.
So here I can say that, as you said, that you did your course of chartered accountancy. So you are a qualified and rank holder chartered accountant. Then as you mentioned कि आप जब CA करते हो तो आप आधे वकील भी हो जाते हो. So you are आधा वकील also. And then now you are into marketing part as well. So how do you juggle up with all these feathers into your cap? बहुत ज़्यादा मुश्किल होता होगा.
So I'll give you one more degree that I've carried in this. a degree from IIM, and it's probably not in your profile briefing note.
Yes, of course. And this is the like full one or that Adha lawyer wala?
Coming to it. So this is the first IIM in the country, and I don't know if you know which is the first. Do you know which was the first IIM?
I'm not aware of it.
So it's the Indian Institute of Marwadis, right?
Okay.
Yeah. So, and that's really core to somewhere you have that in your DNA, right?
Right.
For right or wrong, Marwadis are famous for having this very strong innate business sense in them. There's this foundation of a degree. And then you combine it with what you said, the brand and marketing and the consumer aspect. Then to my mind, that's really helped make me a far more well-rounded professional person, career person, whatever you call it.
So this is the uniqueness in your personality,
Hopefully
I would say.
it is. Yes, hopefully it is.
The Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is known for its high standards of education and training, along with its commitment to ethical conduct.
Chartered accountancy is regarded as the hallmark of effective financial governance globally. Chartered accountants represents financial prudence and discipline. With their multi-dimensional capabilities, they act as a catalyst towards economic development. Various progressive initiatives have been devised to equip chartered accountants with the knowledge and skills required to take on the new challenges of the 21st century.
The ICAI is a leading voice in the global debate on accounting and auditing issues. Thus, its contributions to the development of the global accountancy profession is accepted all around.
We are doing the Career Accent program for the senior chartered accountants who are already into the job and would like to change the job. Approximately 300 jobs have been changed by the people, and this has added the value to the candidates who wish to be the CFO of any company and in time to come the CEO of the company too.
Committee works on initiatives aimed at equipping members with the relevant guidance and assistance to aid their professional pursuits, enabling them to be successful in their field in the industries. Besides, the committee works to help members network with one another, thereby promoting collaboration and mutual learning between different sectors.
Do you see that a person who is doing their chartered accountancy, and once they are a qualified chartered accountant, then this trait of being adaptive is very important for them, because when we are talking about a CA, in terms of policies and in terms of the laws, every day these are getting updated, and a CA has to be adaptive to that. So how do you see that characteristic, and what would you like to preach to today's children who are just doing the CA? So what would you like to tell them for it?
So I think, before we get to particularly CA, I'll tell you one other common trait that is important for any professional and particularly any leader is humility.
That's
And
so
I think
beautiful.
humility is a core essential for adaptability. You stop being adaptable when you become arrogant, when you start getting taken in by success, when you start thinking that you know it all. And not just later in career. If you're a rank holding chartered accountant or whatever you are, you'd think that you're the smartest kid on the block.
Yes.
And then if you think that, you're not going to learn anything.
Yeah.
And that is the first step to adaptability.
Just remember कि बड़ा आदमी वो नहीं होता जो नाम में बड़ा हो या काम में बड़ा हो. बड़ा आदमी वो होता है जो अपने पास बैठे हुए व्यक्ति को छोटा महसूस नहीं होने देता. So I think this is what we call humility, no?
That's right, absolutely.
When we say that here is a chartered accountant we are speaking to, we understand the factor that you have got the financial knowledge, we understand the factor that you have got the accounting knowledge and all that base that a chartered accountancy degree has. But today, what you are looking after is giving the enlargement to that numeric power, because now you are dealing with the business and taking it further for an organization. I'm talking about Bajaj Electricals Limited. So how do you define your role today, and what do you see in future for the organization and for you as well?
So Shilpa, this role is very different. Nothing can prepare you for the role till you land up in that role. Because when you're the CEO or MD of a company, the buck stops with you, which means you're responsible for everything. It's not a functional role, it's not a vertical, it's not an area. And it's stakeholders. The stakeholders multiply. It's not just your team, your people.
Yeah, it's
chairman,
about the
promoter,
stakeholders.
but it's a board, it's the investors. We're a public company. You have so many people who are involved in the company in some form or manner, all our business associates, etc.
And I have heard all the stakeholders lauding a lot about you because you have been creating a lot of value for them.
I hope I have. That's my job to do. So I don't think I'm doing them a favor. It's what I've been brought in here to do. But I think if you do your job with authenticity, with clear purpose, people also see that, they value that.
Yes.
And to that, I'll bring one other favorite motto of mine. And this comes from Anderson again, which is think straight, talk straight. And it's a very simple but powerful thing. And I'm saying this also because businesses will go through cycles, economy will go through cycles. You will have good times and bad times. That's all forgiven as long as they know that you're doing your best. And I always relate a lot to sports or cricket. You'll not score in every innings, you'll not score in every match. You may have a good match, you may have a bad match. But you know that ultimately the guy is a good batsman or not.
Yeah, so you have to get your techniques right, yeah?
Technique is the foundation. The CA is the technique,
CA,
right?
yeah.
Your subsequent hard work is your practice and net practice. You have to be at net practice every day.
Exactly.
And then improvisation is on the pitch. You don't know how the pitch is going to behave. So it's technique, it's practice, and then it's improvisation. All three.
Exactly. Improvisation is very important thing that you have said, because when you are in a particular situation, then you are the captain of your ship. You can only take decision for it, basically.
But also you have to be able to reach out to people sometimes, and which I've done often enough. So people whose advice you can trust, and you just reach out to them. So I think
this is very important.
Yes.
But this has been always difficult to know that whom to trust in your profession, or maybe what do you suggest for like today's students, because right now they are studying, right? But at that time they are the most vulnerable. They don't know whom to trust and how to move further. So do you have any kind of radar from which they can know, okay, these are the kind of people whom we should trust for our business, these are the kind of people whom we should trust for the career advice? How would you say that?
So again, Shilpa, I've been there, right? I've been in the same position. I've been a student, and I did not know what I wanted to do in life, right? I did not know when I joined it, what am I doing, etc. So you have to create these networks for yourself. And the best way to do that is, you will not know who's the right person for what, but just meet people, talk to people, listen to people, absorb things, take in more than you give out, etc. And then you'll find your truth in all of these things.
And I feel when you are meeting someone, you should not meet them with any kind of baggage,
Yes.
You believe that?
Yes, absolutely. And if you meet them with baggage, you're coming with your prejudices, right?
Exactly.
And then you're almost imposing the same point. You're imposing your existing thought framework into what they're saying. So as you keep collecting more of these things, and you'll start finding your heroes. And when I say heroes, your so-called mentors. So when I have a problem sometimes, I also think about what would this person do in the same situation. And the other important thing is not one leader for everything. No one guy is perfect.
Yeah.
So you have to have this constellation or bank of heroes, mentors, whatever you call them. And then kind of just visualize what would this person do in that situation.
In that situation.
And then that sometimes gives you the answer without actually having to reach out to that person.
Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, they have created many more such heroes, I would say, or they have empowered them as well. So how do you see that? The way they are working for their students, the way they are adapting to the newest things in the industry and whatever is going on, I would say on the international platform as well, because the AI and everything, they are adapting to those as well. So how do you see that, their approach towards training students at their best?
Again, that's an ongoing education. So today as CAs, we all have to also maintain what's called CPE hours, which is a number of hours of training per annum, which I also have to do. So firstly, that comes back to knowledge is not a one-time exercise, it's a continuum.
It's a continuum.
You have to keep updating, right? You have to keep staying abreast. So I think the institutes are doing a great job of just creating these platforms or forums to gather that knowledge, both for students and for people like me. But also things like this program, right? Why are they doing this? Because they're trying to bring forth chartered accountants who are outside the mold of just practicing, to doing different things. Because this now comes back to people watching this show, or if there's a CA or budding CA or new CA watching this, it's for you to really take away from this as to what you're able to take away from
Exactly. So आधा कदम अगर ICI बढ़ रहा है तो आधा कदम आपको भी बढ़ना पड़ेगा. So how do you see that handshake when the institute and the student, both of them come one step together and they do that handshake? So how do you see that strength coming on for the market and for the growth of the country?
Like I said, if it's a very powerful degree and you have a bunch of chartered accountants, just look at all the positions they occupy them. I've seen all your previous episodes, just look at the profile. So if you look at this plethora of CAs and the different positions they occupy, in a way it's a national asset that is playing its role in terms of driving the economy. in making things happen for the country.
ICAI's degree of this chartered accountancy, perhaps this is the only course I can see any child sitting at the very, very small district, they can just think of becoming a CA, work hard, and they can become. So what would you like to tell them?
Trust me, you're seeing this from not just me, but all the other people who appeared in your various episodes. It is an extremely powerful degree. I think I personally and most of us owe our success significantly to this degree. And I say that even in today's day and age, when you have lot more opportunities of different courses to pursue, I yet say that today, as a successful professional dealing with a company with all kinds of people with various backgrounds, that this remains one of the most powerful degrees. So don't take it lightly. It is a harder course than many others, but it is harder for a reason. And the reason is it is technically very sound. The knowledge that you're gaining in this is very sound. That is hard to replace. I don't think machines or AI is going to replace this
the human intelligence,
and not this kind of content of knowledge, right? There could be many other things that can be replaced.
That's so beautiful, Anuji. It was wonderful to have this interaction with you. And now we are at that point of area in our episode where here is a rapid fire that you have to play with me.
Okay, I was not aware. But
So we never tell this to the guest because it has to be rapid. So this is a segment that I call Shilpa Bhawana special.
Okay.
I'll be saying one word. Usko sunkar jo pehla shabd aapke zehen mein aata hai, you have to say that.
Sure.
Okay. Numbers.
Finance.
Digits.
1.
Media.
I love it.
Business.
Marwadi.
Okay, Marwadi then.
Smart.
That's good. And when I say chartered accountant, what comes to your mind?
Powerful.
ICAI?
I owe a lot.
CA Anuj Poddar, what would you say about him?
Full of surprises. Many more facets than you know.
So you like today's surprise as well?
Yes, I was not aware, so I genuinely wasn't. Maybe I didn't watch that on all the previous episodes. Yeah.
Thank you so much, sir. It was wonderful to have you with us.
Thank you, Shilpa.
After having today's interesting interaction with CA Anuj Poddar, I could assess that we all need to understand that whether we are an asset or liability, not just on the balance sheet of an organization, but on the balance sheet of the world. Only then we can create a legacy. On behalf of Committee for Members in Industry and Business, the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, this is Shilpa Bhawana signing off for today, but really I look forward to see you in our next episode with one more exemplary story of a chartered accountant. Thank you so much. Take very good care of yourself. Jai Hind.